If the brain is a record of the past, it's an artifact of everything you've learned and experienced to this moment. Would you agree then, if you're not being defined by a vision of the future every single day, you're left with the old circuits of the past? And if you are living by the memories of the past and you're not installing any circuits into the future, then you're going to be predictable in your life. And if feelings and emotions are the end product of past experiences, and you remember experiences better because you remember how they feel, the moment you wake up in the morning and you say, let me think about my problems. Oh, now I'm starting to feel a little bit more like myself. Wait, let me grab my cell phone and let me check my WhatsApp and my texts and my emails and my Facebook. And Jennifer's eating carbohydrates. Did you see that? Oh my God. And my high school boyfriend is looking for me. And the moment you begin to connect to your network of your personal reality, the moment you start turning on those circuits in your brain and you come back to your senses and you get connected to those emotions that have defined you based on memories, and those emotions are driving your thoughts, and you can't think greater than how you feel, you're thinking in the past, and you'll keep creating more of the same life. So then, think about this. You wake up in the morning, your brain, for the most part, is in the past. And would you agree then, if you connect to a familiar feeling or an emotion, and those emotions are driving your thoughts, and those thoughts are creating the same emotions, and those same emotions are driving your same thoughts, and those same thoughts are creating the same emotions, that you're conditioning your body into the past? And your body is the unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between an experience in your life that's creating an emotion and an emotion that you're creating by thought alone. So the body, it's believing and it's living in the same past experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And the body is beginning to continuously get the same information, and it's believing it's in the same environmental condition, which means you're signaling the same gene in the same way. And now you're headed for a genetic destiny. And you've done nothing wrong. You're just taking too long. Because those emotions then will define you. And then someone will say to you, "What's up? Why are you so angry? Why are you so bitter? Why are you so afraid? Why are you so in so much pain? Why are you suffering so bad?" And you say, "I'm so glad you asked." And then you tell a narrative, the story of your past, firing and wiring the same circuits in your brain, working yourself up into an emotional froth. Keep signaling the body into the past, reaffirming your personality based on a feeling. And the latest research on memory says that 50% of what you're talking about isn't even the truth. That you make stuff up. You embellish it. That memory is creative. And what that really means after all these years of studying this, when you ask a person that, it means that they had an event or a series of events in their life that branded them emotionally. And when they tell that narrative, what they're really saying is, I haven't been able to change since that event. I've been altered from that experience. And they find people in their life that are the same emotion, the same energy, and they use each other to reaffirm their addiction to that emotion. And they get agreement for it. And they say, I can suffer more than you can. No, I can suffer more than you do. So then, the body becomes conditioned into the past, which means for the most part, most people's biologies are anchored in the past. And if how you think and how you feel creates your state of being, and you're thinking the same thoughts that are creating the same feelings and the same emotions, and those emotions are influencing your thoughts, would you agree then you're signaling that same gene over and over again? And if genes are responsible for the structure and the function of the body, and you keep selecting and instructing the same gene, you're going to wear that gene out. Just like gears in your car. Taking a fax of a fax of a fax of a fax, or a copy of a copy of a copy, sooner or later, it's going to lose its detail. That's exactly what happens to the body. The body begins to break down because those proteins are responsible for your physiology, for your structure. So then if immune cells make immune protein, knowledge about yourself is self-empowerment. And the problem is that most people wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis or loss. They have to reach their lowest denominator before they make up their mind to change. But my message has always been, why wait? You can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. And that if you can begin to teach people by demystifying the mystical, and science has become the contemporary language of mysticism. It is science that demystifies the mystical. And the moment you start talking about religion or culture or tradition, you're going to divide an audience. But science creates community. And I know, without a doubt now, that if you can give people sound information, and nothing is left to conjecture, nothing is left to dogma, nothing is left to superstition, and those people can understand those concepts made simple, and if they can turn to the person next to them and explain it, they're beginning to wire that information in their brain. And as they describe that model of understanding, they're firing and wiring new circuits in their brain, and they're beginning to install the neurological hardware in preparation for the experience. And if they can't explain it, it's not wired in there. And once they can build a model of understanding that's reflected in neurological networks, and you can set up the conditions for them to experience it, and you give them the proper instruction, a certain percentage of those people are going to have a new experience. And my passion in the last 4 years has been measuring transformation. Because if I can gather more information from what I'm studying in common people that look just like you, they're not Buddhist monks, they're not nuns with 40 years of devotion, they're not ministers, they're not priests, they're not academics, they're not scholars, they're not rabbis. They're common people just like you, of every age, of every color, of every race, of every culture, of every profession. That giving people the understanding of how to empower themselves, and then do the measurements to prove it's just not a subjective experience, but we could measure it objectively. And if I could interpret and understand that scientific measurement, I am going to have more information to teach transformation the next time. And if I could then measure it again, I'll have more information to teach transformation the next time. And we can begin to close the gap between knowledge and experience. And so we have done over 4,000 brain scans. We have measured hearts during meditation. We have measured the energy of the room, the energy around people's bodies, the energy centers of their bodies. We've done epigenetic changes. We've measured neurotransmitters. And I can tell you, people are having transformative experiences. And the beauty behind that is that those experiences are so profound that they can't go back to business as usual ever again. We've happened to measure what that looks like in real time. The neuroscientists, the researchers that come and study our work, think our students are having seizures because the amplitudes of energy are so higher in their brain. And I say to the scientists,
Take a look at her. Does she look like she's having a seizure? She's blissed out in the meditation. And she can't make her brain do that. You see, it's happening to her. And after 4,500 brain scans, I can tell you that you are at your absolute best when you get beyond yourself. That when you analyze your life within some disturbing emotion that's bothering you, you are going to make your brain worse. I've seen it over and over and over again. Because that emotion usually is derived from the hormones of stress that arouse the brain for the short term. But the problem is the emotion is a record of the past, and you are thinking in the past. And all it does is drive the brain further and further out of balance. And when we saw that in brain scan after brain scan, we got really simple on how to teach people on how to do it. And so my passion in the last 4.5 years is studying common people doing the uncommon. And if you teach people the what and the why, the how gets easier. So you believe on some level that your thoughts have an effect on your life. So you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before. So what is the likelihood of something happening different in your life if 90% of those thoughts, conscious or unconscious, are the same thoughts as the day before? Because the same thoughts will always lead to the same choices. The same choices will lead to the same behaviors. The same behaviors will create the same experiences. And the same experiences produce the same emotions. And those same emotions drive your very same thoughts. And your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your hormones, and even your genetic expression is equal to how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates